Okay, we're going over the decision-making zone. The decision-making zone is more than just making all the shots going in. It's going to be your routine around the table. For example, when it's my turn playing 9-ball, I always want to approach the table not being so close. I shouldn't be standing over like this looking at things or putting my hands on the table or leaning on it. I like to be about a foot or two away when I'm circling and looking at my options on the table here. Sometimes on the table when I'm playing, I might have to take a lap after every single shot so I see my options. Also keeps my brain kind of moving around right in my head rather than thinking I got to stand in one spot. So a typical routine before you're shooting is that you're going to give yourself some space away from the table, 1 or 2 feet, and you can take a lap around it and kind of see what your options are. There's no limit to that idea. Now, once I get my set position, then I'm going to be preparing myself for the 1-ball. I'm going to start chalking up my cue. I chalk up my cue before every single shot. I always want to chalk up before every single shot when I take it. It gives me most control every time I approach. Now, when I'm chalking, this is the part where I start thinking about the contact or the object ball behavior. These things I start thinking about the most. I don't want to think about it before I chalk, then chalk, and then hit. It's not a good process for the brain. So a good process for the brain, and this is a good way to think about it too, is that your brains are the chalk when you have it in your hand. So when I have the chalk in hand, I start thinking. I'm always going to be thinking when I have the chalk in hand here. I start thinking, do I hit low on the ball? Do I hit above? Do I cut it? Do I hit, dead center? These little things I'm always thinking about when I have the chalk in my hand right here. So once I decide that what I'm going to do, my plan, I put the chalk down, then I'm going to get to my stance and then my stroke method, which is set, pause, finish, and freeze. And I'm going to use that as a counting system when we do this, is that I'm going to always count set as 3 seconds, pause as 2, and the finish as 4, or the finish freeze as 4. So I'm always going to be doing these routines in a game of 9-ball. I'm always going to talk about my thoughts as I'm chalking, and once I'm done chalking, I'm going to just go through the rhythm of stroke. That's a good way to kind of keep a rhythm. So as a routine player that I like to be, I like to see my options. Sometimes I have to take a lap around the table and see what's going on, keeping my eyes on what's out there. So when I approach my idea here in the 1-ball, I now start thinking. I'm thinking, okay, I need to hit the left side of that 1-ball. Nice and easy. Maybe a little left on the cue ball, just left of center, just above left and center, so I can bring the cue ball towards the middle of the table so I can set myself up properly for the 2-ball next. Practice strokes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel it's going to be most easiest to hit a little bottom on the cue ball in order for it to stop and put that 2-ball on the side. So I'm going to hit a little bit on the left side of the 2, putting the bottom on the cue, setting myself up for the 3. One, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Preparing for the 3-ball next. I can go nice and center with this cue and just let it naturally hit the 3 and then go into the rail under control. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's a lot of cut on that 9-ball. So once the rail there, I'm going to have to hit this with a little bit of less spin so the rail catches the cue and then pushes the 9 in the corner. Hopefully not putting too much spin where the cue bar scratches. One, two, three, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can be goofy on some tables, but